My name's Levi Russell, and I quit my job in Florida. We shoot again, I'm sorry.
Alright.
You can just do it. The other half of the birds out at his operation down the creek, we call that the river farm. And we're also planning on buying an expansion of 500 birds up on the mountain here. That should be going through by the end of this month. We plant the seeds. They start off small like this piece here, and then within a week they get to here, and then within 2 weeks here, and then within 4 weeks they're getting to almost full size there. It's a really rapid growing lettuce. Most lettuce takes 90 days. This one is ready to harvest in 45 days to our standards and American standards. The Philippine standard, yeah, it's bringing it up. And then we'll get the third one, which is calcium nitrate. So this one is
Calcium nitrate,
yeah,
okay.
the extension piece here for less than 200,000. That's 3 times the size. So it would be 4 times the size with all of them together.
Okay.
So it's definitely better to buy larger in the beginning. Yeah. Broilers? Yeah. Babies? Well, I guess we're going to see the reality of farming broiler chickens. They're not very hardy birds at the finish. Because not only does it make them not broiler chickens when you finish them on rice and grass,
taste better.
It makes them taste better.
Tastes like native chickens.
Yep. And people pay 280 to 300 for
That's where they're
chickens.
getting all these native chickens.
So,
well, you shouldn't probably tell people that.
well, it must come from better farms. That's why they're more expensive. So 50 pesos to buy a chick, 80 pesos to get it to a kilo or more of weight in feed, because it's 40 pesos a kilo for feed, and it takes 2 kilos of feed to make a kilo of meat. My name's Levi Russell, and I quit my job in Florida. We shoot again, I'm sorry.
Alright.
You can just do it from... My name's Levi, and I moved here from Florida to do a family farm in the Philippines. Come on, we'll show you the birds. So last year we were reached out by a local farm who were failing to feed their chickens properly, and so we bought 200 layer hens to feed them out and get them ready to lay eggs again. So here's our old layer hens on this side of the barn. They lay jumbo-sized eggs each and every day. We feed them over 100 grams of feed to get adequately sized eggs. We also have our Australorp brown laying chickens, and we have native birds as well. But this is just a little piece of what we're doing here in the Philippines, here near Boracay in Aklan. James and Karen came by today to join us to shoot some videos about a car accident or a motorcycle accident that I had, and just spend some time as expats having time together. But
yeah, I thank you for that, because I'm learning so much from your chicken operation and your hydroponics. I don't know anything about hydroponics. I know a little bit about chickens, but not in the Philippines. So I'm learning a lot here.
So we currently have this operation here, and my brother has the other half of the birds out at his operation down the creek. We call that the river farm. And we're also planning on buying an expansion of 500 birds up on the mountain here. That should be going through by the end of this month, the deal. So we'll have 1,000 birds. We're going to grow that operation to 10,000 birds in the next 10 years. Just 1,000 birds every year, get more birds.
Really awesome. Okay.
Build more barns. But we'll show you the hydroponics next. So this is our hydroponic greenhouse. It's just a small 20 by 20 greenhouse. Yeah, the mint has already started. We have not just lettuce, but we have mulberries, mint, and last time when James was here, he suggested that we cut up our strawberry plant and divide it, and we've got multiple starts of the strawberry plant, and it's ready to start more.
Oh, that's amazing. Cool.
So we'll have a whole row of strawberry plants by the next time James comes out. hopefully we can figure out how to get them to fruit, because that's the biggest challenge in this climate.
You just got to wait it out. And sometimes it's day length.
Yeah.
Maybe research day length.
Yeah, maybe shading them over
a
certain period of time. But yeah, this is our lettuce. As you can see, we have a couple heads ready to harvest, but a lot of it's in the growing stage, which is exactly where we want it. We don't want to have all of the lettuce to harvest in one day, because then when you have a higher supply of lettuce, the demand automatically starts to drop because of the fact that you have a surplus of it. So we like to serve it 20 heads at a time so that we can get the optimal price for it. Instead of, if we brought in 100 of them, they wouldn't be interested in buying 100, they didn't be interested in buying 50, so they'd offer us less to buy all 100. And that's what trucks coming in from Luzon sell their eggplants and okra and things like that for just pennies on the dollar to local places, because they got to get rid of it for whatever the vendor is willing to pay. But here we're in the point of demand asking 40 pesos each, whereas most of the vendors like to pay 25 or 33. They're able to sell our lettuce for 60 pesos a cup, and I imagine most of it goes to restaurants or it goes to Boracay. We haven't done the marketing research to get into restaurants. I've reached out to several restaurants, and they consistently tell me that their purchasing department will reach out to me, and that never happens. But once we get the expansion that we've already almost have complete, aside from the plastic and piping, we'll be searching down more customers. But at this point, 20 heads per day or every other day. We sell about 100 heads of lettuce each month, each week, I mean, and then each month it's about 500.
So can you show us how the hydroponics works?
Yeah, so this is kind of the heart of the whole system. This is a Blue Lab Guardian monitor. We imported that from the States. It tells us the conductivity, the temperature, and the pH level. The pH level has to be in a certain range. The temperature has to be below 90, and the conductivity for lettuce is ideally between 700 and 1,000. We try to keep it around 800, 900 towards the hot side, then keeping it lower. And then we have our well underground here that we dug out, and that's where we're getting all of our water source from. We oftentimes are pumping it through a filter before adding it directly in. And then we have here the blood, or the life. That's the heart telling us how the system's doing. This is the blood, 3-part nutrient solution. I just did a live about it, and we'll be posting it in a long form video coming up soon about how we mix the solution. It's just 3 parts, and we add a 500 milliliter container at a time to the system and adjust it accordingly. But sitting at 800, I mean, I guess we could kick on the water here, because it is running low, and then show you guys how we adjust the solution in a moment. So after about 2 to 3 minutes of that running, we'll be able to show you how it works, the meter. Alright, but yeah, so step-by-step process of growing lettuce plants. You first are going to take a seed. We use imported seed from Netherlands. What's the name of the company? I'm not sure the name of the company, but the variety is called Alamete. And we plant it into these seed trays. I'll show you the seed trays. Here's one of the seed trays. We just fill it with imported soil from Germany called peat moss. It comes from a peat bog. We fill this with the peat moss, get it wet, damp, and then add the seeds. 1 seed per hole or whatever. The seeds cost us about 2 pesos each. Do we have a packet of seeds here? No, we do not. But at any rate, we plant the seeds. They start off small, like this piece here, and then within a week they get to here, and then within 2 weeks here, and then within 4 weeks they're getting to almost full size there. It's a really rapid growing lettuce. Most lettuce takes 90 days. This one is ready to harvest in 45 days to our standards and American standards. The Philippine standard, they're rolling it out 30, 35 days out into the market, which makes it a lot better for us, waiting till 40 to 45 days because we wound up with larger, more luscious looking lettuce. But yeah, so the heart of the system is the Blue Labs monitor. The blood vein is the nutrient solution. And then we have the electric pump inside that runs on a 30-minute timer. Pumps water from inside the tank to the other side of the pipes through these small pipes here. And then it just moves its way down and rolls back into the tank. Hydroponics is great because it's an oxygen-rich growing. Whenever the water's not coming through, we have a lot of air that gets to the roots, and oxygen comes with the air, and oxygen promotes growth superior a lot. If you're working a ground garden, that's why cultivating the soil makes the
aeration,
plants just
oxygen.
Oxygen and aeration.
You don't want an anaerobic environment because that's when the bad bugs come and eat the roots, destroy the roots.
But it's an ideal situation for that because the pipes get dry in the 30 minutes that between watering. So
interesting. So you just taught me a lot I don't know.
Yeah.
So do you have expansion plans?
Yeah. So
for
the expansion
lettuce?
For the lettuce is right now we have 500 holes inside this system. The expansion is another 60 feet, so it'll take us from 500 to 2,000.
Awesome. Okay.
And if we have 2,000, then each week we can harvest 500, whereas we harvest that in a month right now. So we'll be multiplying it by 4 times. Not to mention, it'll give us an opportunity to grow things that aren't lettuce. Grow some hydroponic tomatoes, peppers, everything that's... These are great high-value crops for a rapid growth program, but tomatoes take a little bit longer, peppers take a little bit longer, but they're also a lot better for
80
cash.
or 90 days maybe.
Yeah.
Depending,
And especially if you run peppers and tomatoes right, you can get 2 or 3 harvests out of them before you want to whack them off and start again. You can run them for a lot longer than that, but the numbers are just not profitable.
Yeah, people ask me why I removed our tomatoes. That's why, because they'll produce a little bit after that initial, for maybe 30 days you get a lot of tomatoes, and then just 1 or 2 after that.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing all kinds of different things. Like I said, we do the mint here. We're trying mulberry. It's growing wild for sure, but there's not been a pile of fruit yet, which is actually ideal. You don't want fruit trees to produce fruit young. Mulberries are great for producing fruit pretty much immediately, but if you pick the fruit and knock the fruit off before it grows or whatever, it'll give it more energy to grow and be able to produce more fruit in the future. So it is ideal that it's not producing fruit yet, but at the same time, it's just an experiment. And then the strawberries and the mint. The mint, we sold over 1,000 heads of mint last year.
Wow. Okay.
We bought 2 plants, and we have 2 plants running now.
So are you using cuttings? Are these like the donor plants?
Yeah, those are the mother plants. Or whatever. And we just snip the bottoms off because they make runners, and then snip the tops off and put them in.
So who buys the mints? Like, is it restaurants?
Yeah, lots of restaurants and lots of foreigners. And
all right, that's cool. That's something I hadn't even thought about. There's probably many crops that nobody's even thought about yet.
Yeah. Hydroponic mint is like probably one of the most profitable things. The problem is last year when we were selling 1,000 of them, it was in our dry periods when we weren't selling lettuce as much. And if you're trying to sell 500 heads of lettuce a month, you can't really grow mint in here. We do have our H-frame tower. We'll have to show you that. That was a little bit of an experiment that it doesn't look very good right now, but we'll talk about the A-frame design.
Maybe the mint doesn't need the sunshade as much.
Yeah, it definitely does not.
And it's probably more bug resistant.
All right, so our Blue Lab meter is now at 550, which means we can add nutrients. We've got this 3-part solution here. One is just Epsom salts, which is magnesium something.
Interesting.
This one here is what they call polydrip. It's full spectrum liquid fertilizer that people are using for tomatoes and things like that. They just run it a lot hotter than what we do. Like I said, we try to keep it about 800. If you're doing tomatoes, you want about 1,500.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, you always want to set the system on. That way you can get an accurate reading. And then you just pour it in. And you want to pour in one container of each as you go, so that you don't wind up getting too hot in one of them. This one here is the MGO, which is the, what did I say it was? Epsom salts. If you have achy feet or whatever, and you want to solve your aches,
yeah,
Epsom salts is good for that.
And you feed it to the lettuce. Okay.
It also balances the electrolytes.
Okay.
Or the conductivity. It works as an electrolyte in the system.
Yeah, I see it bringing it up.
Yeah, it's bringing it up. And then we'll get the third one, which is calcium nitrate. So this one is
calcium nitrate.
Yeah,
okay.
This one's almost 50-50 calcium nitrate.
Interesting.
And like I said, we're putting 500 milliliters. This was already, so it was about 2 kilos of calcium nitrate, about 3 kilos of the poly drip, and less than 1 kilo of this.
One thing I wonder about is, do you have to agitate it?
That's what, yeah. This.
Well, I guess that you're checking the settings, so you know if you got enough in or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and running this pump makes aeration in the water, adds oxygen to the water.
Okay.
This is working as a waterfall system, and it agitates it pretty well. If you look inside.
Okay. Yeah. Agitate and aerate.
Yeah, as you can see, it spiked real quick there to 900.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to drop its way back down to about 800.
As you fill it, yeah. Dilute it.
So here's the sensor. I'll give you a look at that.
Was it an electrode?
Yeah. We got a temperature sensor and then an electrode sensor.
Okay, that's electrode and a temperature sensor. Yep. Cool. Interesting.
And that's why it went down to nothing there.
Yeah, because you took it out. Okay. Okay, because I have basically no knowledge of hydroponics, of how it works. So this is the most knowledge I've ever gained on hydroponics.
Yeah, so now we're seeing that it's coming back up to 700, 800, which is about where we want it. We've got sufficient amount of water in there now, especially because when you turn on the pump, it about sucks this half empty. So if the pump's running, and you can see the water level there is half empty, that means by the time the water all gets back in there, it'll be about full.
Okay.
It's about 740. I don't know if it'll say that. We could add more if we need to, but that at least gives you a little example of how this works. So another really important part about hydroponics is sunlight. Because you're in your own environment or whatever, we have to have this shade cloth for the lettuce. There are plants that we grow in here that we don't need that, so that's why it's just easy to pull back and forth.
Okay.
But it's been at least a week of no direct sunlight here, and it's actually recovered pretty well. About 3 days ago, it was all like almost a yellow green. Now we're getting some darker green, so we'll probably pull that back tomorrow if we continue to get some reasonable sun. But yeah, so this is hydroponics. Because you control your environment, you gotta, I'm trying to think of a less sacrilegious way to do it. You basically got to play God, because you're in charge of how much water it gets, you're in charge of how much sunlight it gets, you're in charge of making sure that the bugs, if there are bugs in here, it becomes a situation that within a week everything will be dead. Whereas if you had bugs out in soil or whatever,
it would be lower pressure.
Yeah. But because they're not able to move out, if you have a
insect
bug
pressure
problem,
would be very high. Okay.
Yeah, and we do have minor problems with things like algae in pipes. But we, after each harvest, we go through and do
scrub it all,
wash out.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of a, hydroponic lettuce is great if you can give it 30 minutes a day, like 15 minutes in the morning,
that's all
15
it takes
minutes at night.
Really,
it's great for that. But you can't take a day off, because if you take a day off,
it dies.
The water's not running.
It's a living thing. It dies. Okay.
It's not like soil farming where you can just set it and forget it kind of thing. Like it's not like corn, you can't just put it in the field and not worry about it. And I guess there's a fair amount of things you have to do for ground crops as well, but you got to be in here at least 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night, and then you got probably 30 minutes to an hour in selling lettuce. But it's kind of it's a little bit of a big investment. So this greenhouse, I think we were in for 3,000 USD, which is 150K for the plastic and pipe, and then this pipe came free from someone else's operation. We painted it and cleaned it and all that. But so it's a little bit of an investment. If you had to buy the pump, the tank, dig the well, do all of that, you're definitely going to be in 200,000. But the structure itself is about 150. We got the extension piece here for less than 200,000. That's 3 times the size. So it would be 4 times the size with all of them together.
Okay.
So it's definitely better to buy larger in the beginning, even if you're not going to cover it all in plastic. You could just cover a quarter like we did and save a lot more money, because it would have been a lot cheaper that way. The pipe that we bought here for the expansion or whatever was quite an investment, because we decided to go with the rectangle gutter pipe instead of the round pipes here. But yeah, that's a little peek in the hydroponics. We'll maybe show you some of the 45-day broilers and bantams. Okay. That's my my newest project.
All right.
What do we have time wise?
19.
Okay. Yeah. Broilers? Yeah. Babies? Well, I guess we're going to see the reality of farming broiler chickens. They're not very hardy birds.
These are the famous 45-day birds.
Yeah. So
and a lot of people don't understand what that means. You want to explain what is 45-day bird?
So if you bought a Costco rotisserie chicken or a Walmart rotisserie chicken or any place that you're buying a rotisserie chicken for $5, it's a broiler chicken. Really low input as far as they just in 45 days they're done, and it's the fastest bird variety that there is. 45
days till fried chicken. Yep. In other words.
We do have one dead one. I don't know that we need to show it on camera, but
no.
But yeah, this is my bantam hen. She's kind of the substitute mother, because broiler chickens don't come with their own hens. So.
Oh, that's cool. So they got a mom.
Yeah.
And they're very broody.
Yeah.
They like chicks. The bantams always like to be moms.
So it'll probably be rough on her whenever they're all gone in 45 days. I didn't really think that one through. But
yeah.
And not to mention,
she might go off her
way
feed.
More than her
at
this point already. These ones here are 2 weeks old. And then we have the ones that are here that are less than 5 days old.
Okay. That
are all dying because we had a bunch of rain and not really any sunlight, and
chickens don't like rain.
Yeah. We've had a bulb in here since the chicks came, but I've blown through 3 bulbs in the last 3 days. So we're gonna maybe get a new piece of wire. Maybe the wire's too big. I can't imagine that you could be sending too much current to a light bulb. But at any rate, we got to do some problem solving with the bulbs.
They need heat.
Making a purchase of 20 broiler chicks for 1,000 pesos is a smaller investment that if they all died, it wouldn't be the end of the world. There was last year in September. Come here, cat. Last year in September, we bought 200 broiler chickens and lost 180 of them, and then we harvested 20. So I had ramped up. I started with 20 like I'm doing now, and then did 40, harvested 40, then did harvest 80, 100, harvested 100 of them, and then I bought 200 twice. Both of them were below 40% harvest rate, which meant that I lost all of the money that I had made in all the other running up sections.
Is it easier to make money in eggs?
Well, if you do broiler chickens right, you'll double your money in 45 days. You're never going to double your money in eggs in 45 days.
You really think that? I'll have to pencil that out. You can double your money in 45 days with
the way I was doing it, feeding them rice and grass at the finish. Because not only does it make them not broiler chickens when you finish them on rice and grass,
taste better.
It makes them taste better.
Taste like native chickens.
Yep. And people pay 280 to 300 for
That's where they're getting all these native chickens. So, well, you shouldn't probably tell people that.
Well, that's
the locals already know that. They'll probably.
Yeah. I never sold them as native chickens, but I always sold them at a premium as not magnolia.
Because they know they taste a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody was, and before I ever harvested birds, they were already sold because everyone wanted to get their hands on these.
That is a hot.
Native chickens.
hot piece of information there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we set up these 2 barns or whatever, small barns for the 200. And then after failing twice in a row, I was like, I'm just done with this. Even though I've invested probably $30K in the last year or whatever between these 2 little barns and buying birds and feed that just didn't turn out to make any profit.
Okay.
But yeah, in general, I would advise everybody to start small, buy $20 or 1,000 pesos worth of chickens, raise those up. That'll feed you for, I don't know, if you're just a couple, 1 bird probably feed you all day, lunch and then dinner
easily.
or whatever.
Sure. Big pot of soup.
Yeah. So yeah, just start small, work your way up, and don't get too zealous about getting 200 birds too soon, especially because what I really need to do is build a full barn setup where everything's enclosed and everything is controlled, just like a hydroponic lettuce setup where I can be the master of it all or whatever, instead of letting them out like this. But the native is definitely the way to raise birds to make a profit, because so the chicks are going to cost you anywhere from 40 to 50 pesos each. I bought a lot of 40 peso chicks. I don't think it's worth it. I think it's probably worth it just to spend the 50 pesos because they must come from better farms. That's why they're more expensive. So 50 pesos to buy a chick, 80 pesos to get it to a kilo or more of weight in feed, because it's 40 pesos a kilo for feed, and it takes 2 kilos of feed to make a kilo of meat. But like I said, once you get them to that kilo, they're nice and plump or whatever, start letting them be native. Let them run around and eat some grass if you have a place to do that, and feed them rice, because they'll go crazy for rice just like they do for the feed. And you can supplement them with some feed as well, but the problem is the numbers. You're going to buy a sack, if you have 20 birds or whatever, you're going to buy a sack of feed when they get a kilo to get them to the 2nd kilo, because they just eat and eat and eat and eat and poop and poop. So it's just better to use them as natural fertilizer, get them in the grass, let them eat some grass, feed them rice, and then just supplement a little bit of feed to get them the nutrients that the rice and the grass might be lacking in. But yeah, okay.
Good? Okay.